Alright, what is up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's time for Tactical Pineapple to once again ride out with you guys. Uh, you know, uh, I was planning on recording this video a couple days ago and realized, well, camera's dead. Can't really record anything for you. So, I'm recording it now. It's the morning. I'm on my way to work, unfortunately, but hey, we can have a little bit of fun and discuss you know, what it feels like to get shot. I'm going to do the vroom vroom, and we'll pick back up in just a minute. So, obviously, I have no idea what it actually feels like to get shot. Now, I can tell you what it feels like to get stabbed. Uh, it sucks, but I've never actually been shot, so I can't really speak to a firsthand account of what it's like to get shot. Now, I can tell you though, based on other firsthand experiences, what people have said about getting shot. We all know the truth about, the faster something happens, the less likely it is for you to notice it, right? So, pulling, duct tape off your hairy arm, right? If you pull it faster, you're going to be better off, right? Less pain because it just happens faster. I know there's some people who are going to say that's totally not true. It's the same amount of pain. It just happens all at once. Well, okay, but the argument here is still pretty much the same. First-hand accounts have really been, obviously all I can draw on, but people say, oh, I felt like I got punched in the stomach or something like that. Or, I didn't even really notice it until I felt the burning sensation. Now that makes 100% sense because a bullet, obviously traveling through the air that fast, recently expelled from the barrel of a firearm by way of explosive powder, is hot. We all know this. We all know that it's hot. There's really nothing anybody can do about that. I mean, there's semi-cooling factor of wind and this and all that, but the fact of the matter is she's coming out, she's coming hot, and it's going to be that way. So yeah, the fact of the matter is it's still being thrown down a barrel that's actually tight with explosive pressure, right? So a lot of people think that the bullet itself is only hot due to the explosive pressure, but it's also a combination of friction on top of it. So especially with a rifled barrel, something like that, where the slug or projectile is being pushed down with so much pressure and then the rifling is actually creating a twist on the projectile. That means there's an actual interference, which means friction. You're dragging that across there at a high rate of speed. So you're also increasing heat via, rifling. Now there is some offset because of the wind going through the air and all that, but not even going into those details, a bullet is hot. So you can watch all these channels on the internet where they're digging through something they shot and they pull the bullet out. It could be 5 minutes later. That bullet is still hot. There's still a good amount of heat that's trapped within that bullet. And actually, it doesn't probably even reach maximum temperature until after it's hit what it's, supposed to hit. So especially if the bullet gets lodged inside of you, that heat is going to begin radiating outward, in a pattern that, begins to affect multiple nervous areas of the body. Number one, the wound track itself has essentially been scorched as the bullet goes in. Not enough to actually seal anything off, but enough to, basically say, hey, there's a lot of fucking heat right here, right now, what's going on? Now, if that bullet, like I said, stops inside of the body, now you have this extremely hot piece of metal that's actually probably getting hotter as it sits inside of you, and that is just burning everything around it. So the massive burning feeling makes 100% sense. Um, some individuals have, like, there's one account of a guy who shot himself in the leg with a 12 gauge shotgun. I don't remember the exact backstory on it, but whatever the case, he ended up dropping the gun or something like that, and it blew off the bottom portion of his leg. Went like through his tib fib area, and he didn't even notice it, to be completely honest, is what he said, until he went to put weight on that leg and it snapped. So obviously when there's no connective tissue, no muscle, bones are not meant to stand on their own with weight that we have as humans, even if you're moderately weighted, even lightweight. The bone itself, without the substructure, the subcutaneous materials and the muscles are not meant to support weight. It has to be together in order for it to work. You know, you can't just peg leg your way around with the bottom of a bone like cartoons. So there's that. Another account, you know, obviously is like the weird ones where it's like randomly shot in the head. You know, the husband laying next to the wife who keeps a gun under her pillow in the middle of the night. The gun went off. Nobody heard it because it was muffled underneath the pillows. Yada yada yada. It's all kind of bullshit. He wakes up with a headache, goes to the hospital, and finds out he was shot in the head. When she realizes he was shot in the head, or, you know, that he's alive, and they see that he was shot in the head, she runs out, you know, whatever. Obviously, it wasn't an accident type deal. But the guy didn't even know he was shot in the head, right? Small caliber bullet went in while he was sleeping. Most likely, the area where it was in was actually into the brain tissue, which doesn't have a lot of nervous, you know, centers in it. This is a fact that you learn, you know, pretty simply if you've watched any Ray Liotta movies over the years. The brain itself is not a nervous center. It is a communication center that tells nerves what to do, but it actually doesn't contain a lot of nerve endings in and of itself. So the brain is not an area that's affected by pain. So if you get a bullet that goes into your head and gets lodged into your brain, assuming it's in an area that actually has minimal effect on function, memory, you know, other portions of your body, you're probably not going to even notice it unless it's a massive wound, right? So a high velocity bullet is going to create a lot more damage than something like a 22 coming out of a small pistol. So, and don't get me wrong, a 22 shot to the head can kill you. It's just depending on the area and how you're hit type deal. We all know, like, Gabby Gifford's story, shot in the head, you know, and yes, she's going through a shit ton of rehab, but she has survived it. She is moving forward with her life, and for the most part, from what I understand, I don't know her personally. Obviously, I only know the story that's been released. She's very high functioning. She's relatively lost nothing other than a lot of time and energy that's been put into the physical therapy. So, I personally hope I never have to feel what it's like to get shot. But unlike in the movies, what I'm going to say, you know, in the movies, generally speaking, if you get shot, you die, right? You know, there's some movies that are better than others, but that's not necessarily the case. An individual getting shot doesn't necessarily mean you're dead. So there are a few areas, if you get shot, that you will die, obviously, some of them instantaneously. However, the majority of people who are shot by bullets do not die from them. I guess you're not shot by bullets, you're shot by guns, you're shot by people. You are shot by people, not by bullets. But the majority of individuals who take a bullet into their body do not die from said bullet. They may die from complications due to that bullet in their body, but they don't necessarily die from the bullet itself. So understand that getting shot does not automatically mean you are dead. It's not a death sentence in and of itself. So like I said, I hope I never have to get shot. I hope nobody who watches this ever has to get shot. If you have been shot, make sure to say something down in the comments. Let us know your experience. I'm not talking about hit with a bulletproof vest because it's a completely different animal, but actually soft tissue damage, something shot with a bullet. Let us know down in the comments section. If you've watched to this point, you are a fucking rock star. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and if you're not already subscribed, subscribe, click the notification bell. It really does help. But if you don't, I'm not going to cry about it. So, hey, have a great one. I have been Tactical Pineapple. This has been Tactical Pineapple Rides, and we will see you next time where we keep it 2 wheels down, shiny side up, and we always carry our fucking pistols, folks. Have a good one.